Live!
Hello, everyone.
Yay!
We have with us Thayer, who we've seen on Allie's show with Meeting the Mediums,
Yeah.
and occasionally you go on with Jean, the Sun Psychic, don't you?
I haven't been on with Jean yet, but with Kelly on
With
her
Kelly.
Pat's channel and with Tarot Stash.
So,
Yeah, yeah. So dropping in on other people's YouTube channels. My favorite thing to do.
well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
So I appreciate you coming today
yeah.
and being able to have you here with us. Appreciate you coming today.
Yeah.
Got a little there. That was me. And so
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about yourself there.
Oh, let's see. I've always I always liked magic. I don't know why magic's on my mind today. Um, I've always been intuitive. I was born writing everything backwards, and really track the world in an intuitive, emotional way. My soul chose a very difficult, competitive New England family, and as a result, I I did a lot of growing and a lot of changing, because sometimes you choose difficult when you have difficult things. You can either choose to be buried by them or keep your head above water.
See them as an opportunity.
As an opportunity. And because I was born dyslexic, and I did have a very caring family in terms of education. I had excellent tutors and was really taught to work extra hard to learn how to read or to accomplish things in school. It's sort of like so I'm used to working extra hard and doing things a little bit double than other people. And I, of course, have married a very dysfunctional guy, had a wonderful daughter. And after I had my daughter, I went, oh, I have this human being I'm responsible for. I better, I didn't want to be like my mother, and I started
Right.
being like my mother. So I stopped smoking. I remember having her 6 months old in her car seat, and I'm lighting up a unfiltered Camel, my favorite cigarette.
Right.
And I'm looking over at her, and there she is looking at me, and I'm going, I don't think I'm going to smoke anymore. So I went to a hypnotist. I quit smoking. Then I went to a therapist. I went to Al-Anon. I went to I ended up getting a divorce. My Ariel's father was also very psychic.
Mm-hmm.
He could move objects with his mind.
Oh my.
Yeah, no, he was. We were attracted because we both had very dysfunctional and cruel parents and family situations. But the attraction was there, but we didn't have the tools on how not to destroy each other.
Right.
Yeah. And I chose to find the tools, and he chose not to, which was unfortunate. And since then, it's just been learning, changing, growing. And I found a couple of women in New Jersey I did co-creative partnership with.
That's nice.
With a Paralander method. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Well, there was two women I worked with in New Jersey, and I cleared a lot of past lives. I did a lot of EMDR and hypnosis, and both of them were very psychic. And once a month, like with a therapist, I would call my friend Lynn, and I would have a little therapy session with my spirit guide. So I would take concepts, and then I would take the concept, like we'll just say anger, like say somebody made me angry. I would connect with a spirit guide, loosen up the energy of the anger with that person, and then, and this is very important, and then I would have to be human. I would have to take that energy in an earthly form and ground it into the earth through me. So it's not always just spiritual. You have to take the concept and bring it down into the human level.
Because that's how we process.
Yeah, it's like evolution. It's like a transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that for 10 years, and raised my daughter. I had a house painting company. I taught art. I was a single parent. And then after that, things changed, and I moved out to New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter moved to LA. She's 35 now. She's very psychic, very empathic. Her father died when she was 12, 13. So that was very difficult on her.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they were very much alike. But that was double the load for me. But the more I changed myself, like I would take a character flaw and I would move through it, and I would ground it, and like I would plow to open ground. It gave her room to move in after me to grow. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So, so I've done that. And she recently got a really good job, and I'm 66, and I said, I think I'm going to retire.
I don't blame you.
And have fun. And I got into this mediumship because of Susan Lynn and Allie, and I love doing it. It's fun, and it seems natural.
Susan Lynn is such a kind person. Yeah. Did you take mediumship courses with her?
With her. I did with her and Medium Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took some, there's a woman from Canada, I have a friend, Colleen, from Canada, and I got hooked into this Nicole. She's Canadian too, and she has mediumship circles. And I've taken courses from Tony Stockwell. He's an English guy that does online mediumships. He's part of the Arthur Finley College.
So you've really been growing your abilities, and
yeah.
lately you really seem to be tapped in. You seem like it almost comes to you quicker than it does to some of the other mediums that I've watched. That so you're so open that you're really getting the energy from the person.
Yeah, and I'm learning how to trust myself and relax. I think that's the biggest thing, is self-trust. Yeah, and sometimes I feel like, wow, maybe I'm too loud, or I blurted out, and I don't want to push back the other people in the panel. I'm going to try to write things down too a little bit more.
I think sometimes you really need to, if spirit is telling you to say it, you have to say it.
Yeah. Otherwise it will sort of move out.
Yes.
But I love working with other people. I love meeting with the mediums. It's fun. That's what's so nice about this, is to be with like-minded people and grow and change together, which is really
Can you hang on a second? There's someone's knocking at my door. I'm going to disappear for just a second, and I'll be right back. Okay.
Yep. If anybody wants to ask any questions, or have a topic that you want to talk about how you feel about your mediumship, or any kind of spirit experiences you had. I remember being at a funeral before I was aware of this. It was my neighbor in New Jersey, out in rural New Jersey. And there was this woman in the back. she was crying and sobbing and crying and sobbing. And I heard this voice, go tell her to shut up. Go tell her she doesn't have to cry so much anymore. And I'm going, I'm not going to do that. And I got, go tell her I'm fine and to stop crying. And I'm going, all right, I guess I will. And I kind of just, I didn't know it was like an outside voice. I went up and I went over to her and I held her hand and I said, you know, Betty is just fine. She really doesn't want you to cry that much anymore. She knows you love her and she's just fine. And the woman's like, what? What's this artist from New York telling me what to do? But it was I remember that as, oh, that's mediumship.
It is.
That I was not aware of. It was just like this voice that would sometimes, many times when I was in high school and stuff, get me into trouble because I would say things I would get from spirit or say things that were obvious to me that weren't so obvious to other people. So everybody thought I was a little odd.
I have experienced that myself where everybody thought I was a little odd.
Yeah. So what's been one of your experiences?
One thing that I have, I have a few, but when I was about 16 or 17, one of my cousins had a motorcycle accident and was killed, but he didn't die right away. He was in a coma for a while. And at the time I was connected in with several of my cousins, and we were all upset that we didn't know this particular cousin as well as we should have, that we weren't as close-knit a family as maybe we should have been. So the night he died, I thought it was a dream at the time, but I think it was a visitation. He came and stood in my bedroom and spoke to me and told me that we shouldn't lose touch with each other, but not to worry, that he was fine. And he was only there for a short time. So I told my other cousins that I was close with that this happened, and they never questioned me because, it was family and all, but I don't think they believed me.
They were like, yeah, let's have another beer,
But I had to deliver the message. It wasn't anything I had control over. It was, I was compelled to deliver the message. So, and turns out over the years, we have drifted apart. I believe all of us are still living that were living at that time, but we have all
drifted, gone.
Almost all of us. And I rarely hear about or even speak to any of them. No. So he was right. He was right. But I think it was a real, true visitation because I was not acquainted with this cousin at all. I didn't speak to him. As if we had passed each other on the street, we wouldn't have known each other.
Right.
So I was convinced that it was him and not my imagination.
Yeah. And for me, finding the difference between the information from spirit and my own thinking is something that I'm working on now. Like the other day, I'm unloading my car. My car is up. It's parked next to the street, and I go through a gate and I come down to my guest house, and I'm unloading the car and I hear lock your car. I'm going, I don't need to lock my car. I never lock my car. Well, that night, what happened was somebody opened up my car and went through it. And it's sort of like when you're at the market and you hear get half and half. I don't need any half and half. I'm fine. And you come home and you realize, yeah, your half and half is sour. It's that kind of thing of
It is.
being aware because and not arguing with it. And this is what I love about Susan Lynn is
She argues with hers.
I was going, oh, yeah. I argue with my. Don't tell me what to do. Like,
she said recently, I have questions.
I have questions. Why do you want me to do that? Don't argue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, they will bug us until we do it.
On the really important things.
On the important things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, and I'm getting that I should set up a vibrational painting YouTube channel. I'll get to it. That's a big step for me. Hi, Rod, Unconditional Love. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Anna Banana. Thank you for visiting us today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anna Banana has a question. Okay. How do you trust what you get when the person isn't there? I get more info with the sound of the voice than just tapping in.
This is how I would solve it, is I would remember the voice or go to the voice and then move, like the voice is a portal, is a way to move into the energy. And if for me, when the person isn't there, I try to open up my heart and move into the name. That's sometimes why names are important. And if you can remember the voice, or you can actually try to move in where their voice is and move in there, or auditory. This is why practice is good. Mm-hmm. Because the more you practice, the more you find your portal, find your door that gets opened.
And you learn to trust
more. Yeah.
With me, I trust my guides. And because I always say I'm not a medium, but I know things.
Right.
And they don't just come out of the clear blue. They come from somewhere. They come from my guides. So I trust my guides, and I try to be respectful and know that it's whatever is coming to me is coming through them from source.
Yes.
Yeah. So I can say it out loud, and if the person gives me some feedback that I'm on the right track, then I can go forward. And if I'm not on the right track, then I know that was me. I have to move my ego out of the way, tell it to go sit in the corner.
Which is not that easy to do, really.
No, it's not, because it pops up and says,
yeah,
I'm over here. And
yeah. In one of the classes I took, it was a Meet Your Guides class. Mm-hmm. And my guides are always just a knowing. I get things through knowing. But with a Meet Your Guides class, there was a woman named Ruth that looked like Dora the Explorer. And she is my mediumship guide. So as soon as I call her in, and this is for me, this is how I found out to do it, that Ruth has a room. She has a kit. She's in a room with a table. And when I get stuck, I go, okay, Ruth, what do we got? And the person will come and sit at the table. Mm-hmm. And then I can see a little bit what they look like. I can go into that room. And this is like maybe might help you on a banana is that you set up a place that, or like a separate energy source where the information is allowed to come in, and then you can take it from there.
Like Terry Suzuki has her stage.
Her stage, that's right. Yeah. And it's that practice, or it's that meditation, or that's why I like doing the group practice, is that you're all sort of in the same energy. Everybody makes mistakes, or you're all kind of trying to figure that out. Where once that door opened, and Ruth has never been wrong. I mean, I've been wrong because I haven't interpreted Ruth's information accurately, but it's a place that I go to that helps me leave my ego aside.
That's what I always say about my cards, because that's how I have the knowing, and
Right?
then they talk to me through the cards or my pendulum. And that's how I feel about my cards. The cards are right. I
Yeah.
may be wrong, but the cards are right. So I completely understand what you say about how Ruth has never been wrong, because it's our interpretation whether or not we see the message clearly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Or like I was in one practice class, and we had to get a memory from the person we were with, and I saw an image of a person. I don't know if you're familiar with Mary Jo Kopechne. She
Mm-hmm.
was the person,
Okay.
yeah, that drowned, and somebody from home in New England said, "Oh, I know what happened. My father was a cop, and they described the scene, and I got that scene in my head." So when the memory came up, they showed me that scene of Mary Jo Kopechne drowning in the car, and I really should have. This is where I didn't trust. I should have said, "I see people drowning." And I kind of went, no, that couldn't be it. Why is Mary Jo Kopechne there? It was like a symbol, and it was about a graduation party where um, uh, three high schoolers or three college age kids um, drove off in their trucks and drowned. So, and I finally got to it, but it wasn't until the end, till the other person sort of filled it in, that I went, oh, trust what you get right away, trying to read those symbols. So,
It gave you something that you were familiar with,
yeah, yeah,
so that you could connect the dots.
yeah. And now when something familiar comes up, I don't think, oh, that's personal. You've made it up there. They're giving me something that I understand already.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where I think the group practice and having fun with your friends is you learn how to read your symbols.
Well, and even I think with that symbol, it even goes further, because you said the age of the people was
Yeah,
about the same age that Mary Jo Kopechne would have been.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, and then she knows, because Ted Kennedy. I mean, when you're a certain group of people, the Kennedys and all that. Yeah, no, it was kind of a
Yeah, it was going to
very
be
sad story.
covered up
Yeah. Oh, your issue is that the information comes different at time.
all the time.
Well, I mean, I've learned this, and I because I did the co-creative work with the Paralandra method. I open up a coning before I go in, and I connect with my guides, and I ask how I want to. I ask that the symbols are clear, they're concise, and that the information is for the highest good of the reader. Um, so it's uh, I I read people different psychically than I do with a mediumship. One minute I get a color energy ball, then I hear keywords. Well, I mean, this is how I would do it. That's not, I would merge the color with the words. What does the color say? Where is the color taking you? and then with the words. So
And you work with colors a lot.
I do. If I have a hard time going into somebody, I'll ask for a color. I'll go into that color and then trust what comes after that.
So she's also saying that it's like I'm communicating with different guides each time. I'd say you may be communicating with different guides.
You are allowed to tell your guides how you want to be communicated with.
Mm-hmm.
You are, it's a two-way conversation. Michelle Small-Wright, who talked with nature and did co-creative gardening, nature had her up at 2:00 in the morning, putting seedlings in her garden. She finally said, nope, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not planting in the middle of the night anymore. I'll get the information during the day with my 8 hours. I need my sleep. And nature said, fine. Her guide said, okay, we didn't know. So
I've heard of some psychics and mediums telling their guides they can't communicate with them while they're driving.
Right.
Kind of thing, because you never know. You could be in an accident because you're not fully present.
Well, and this is, for me, Anna Banana, this is where practice is invaluable, because you can be with a bunch of people where you can make mistakes or say the wrong thing, even though the image that you're getting is right. And then you get a chance to go back and review that. So it seems like you're getting information, which is the best.
You just have to have them put it in a form you can interpret.
Yeah. Or just sort of like throwing mud against the wall. Let me see if that's the right one, if I'm interpreting, if I'm understanding them, to try to figure out. Now, when I get an image that is familiar to me, I go with it. I don't say, oh, you're just making that up.
Because you trust yourself.
Because I realized, oh, they're giving me something that's familiar.
Yes.
So how about you? How do you get your information through your voice, or?
Are you asking Anna?
I'm asking you.
Me. I'm not real clairaudient yet. I do get words sometimes. I mostly just have a knowing.
Yeah.
I know things. I do sometimes get images. I had one of my uncles was a pilot, and he had a plane crash that wasn't exactly a crash, but his plane exploded in midair, and I saw it when it happened. I didn't know what it was until we got the news.
Yeah.
But, so I sometimes get flashes, and it's usually not premonition. It usually happens as it's happening.
Right. You're good at that. Energy's coming in.
It is.
Yeah.
Mostly I get a knowing. I get, or I'll get songs and song lyrics. I get, of course, I use my cards. I get it through cards. I was doing a reading yesterday just for practice on something, and my cards started to be whiny. Not literally out loud whiny, but they gave a whiny reading.
Yeah.
So I usually get my messages either through the cards or my pendulum, or I just know it, and then I'll use something to give me some validation to confirm, or I hear song lyrics in my head, and they are always either my own voice or the voice of whoever made the song.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's, it looks like your doors are opening way up.
They are, and I'm coming to realize that I'm a little more plugged in than I thought I was.
Yeah. No, I mean we're no, and that's always really nice. I mean, I think it's nice when you get the bingo shot.
It is.
Oh, like I said, my non-believing friends that I walk with, I tell them, oh, it's just like getting a bingo on your card. Oh, I got this and this and this right. It's a fun thing.
I know. A
Yeah,
lot of times what I get are sad things too. I get like they'll show on the news a missing person and I will know that they're not
right.
alive anymore and
Yeah,
that kind of thing. And so there is some downside to it, but it's okay to know and not be able to change it.
right, right. I think that also is. I don't know who we're talking with about giving bad news or giving news that is difficult.
Yes.
Um, but I guess it's not what you say; it's how you say it. We had a person that there was a lake in New Jersey. I had some friends that lived on the lake, and somebody had drowned, or somebody had disappeared. And I just went into a meditation about it, and I saw him down at the bottom of the lake, and I said his body will come up in 2 days, that he's dead, and that happened. But I had to open up and ask for the information. It seems like your information just comes in.
It does.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I get it just by seeing a picture.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And a picture will come up and I will know that that person isn't with us or that they're in danger.
Have you watched the psychic detective shows on YouTube?
I have, but it's been some years
Yeah.
since I've watched them. Mm-hmm. But I have in the past watched them.
Let's see. Anna Banana did an energy reading a few weeks back and got the image of a dry rad separating from a tree. I don't know what a dry rad is. Person had a past life meditation session the day before with the same image. Because I think the energy that we read is very much like the internet. It's an energy flow, and the more you open up, or the way you open up and allow that energy to come in, that's why I like getting information is finding where your portal or where you can go in to catch the big energy flow up there. Well, I mean, you're going to have your own channel on a banana. It seems like you've got your energy readings pretty well together.
So,
Yeah.
yes, we're. Do you have anything on your channel yet?
Tara, or you probably already have a channel. Yeah. Well, let's ask. Maybe somebody's got some questions they want to.
Okay, let's do that. So
open up to, or any experiences. What was I know the different experiences people have, the little magic.
So Anna's saying that she has some videos on her channel, but she hasn't done any lives yet.
All right, I'll have to go to your channel, Anna. I was unaware you had one. I will find it and click subscribe to it. That's exciting.
Anna, put your link in the chat. So
I know.
Okay, I just forgot what we were saying. There she is.
There she is.
There's Anna's channel. Please go to her channel and subscribe and show her some love. And pretty soon, maybe she'll have a live show and we can all go over there and support her.
Trying to think of things that we could predict or talk about that's not political.
Oh, well, you know what? I had, when I was 5 years old,
Yeah.
I just thought of this the other day, and I think I put it in one of my stories on my channel. When I was 5 years old, my dad came home from Vietnam. And he wasn't home yet, but he was on his way home. He was being debriefed in Hawaii. And I heard an airplane go over, and I said to my mom, now my mom had made dresses for us, matching dresses. They had little polka dots on them, and my little brother had a little suit with a bow tie, and we were going to go to the airport and pick him up and meet him. And an airplane went overhead, and I said to her, Daddy's home. He's coming home. And she said, oh, no, it's not time. It can't be him. And in a few minutes, and it wasn't, that plane wasn't him, but in a few minutes, my dad came in a taxi and came home. And he had gotten into the airport. You know, this was the 60s, and it was not a popular war. And so the taxi driver, who was a veteran, saw my dad, saw him in his uniform with his gear, his duffel bag and everything, and grabbed him and put him in his cab and brought him home.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And that was one of my first memories of knowing something.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a magical experience because I got my dad.
Oh, I thought about my dad, and he came through the door. I remember that my mother used to make the Simplicity. We used to go to the store and get those Simplicity patterns, and she would make dresses for us, calico dresses. That was the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody made their own. Everybody had a sewing machine and made their own dresses.
They did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my grandmother taught her to, not her mother, but my dad's mother taught my mother how to sew. Because my grandmother made her own patterns.
Oh, yeah.
She had 6 kids, and she was very adept at sewing. Yeah. So she taught my mom how to sew, and my mom always used those Simplicity patterns.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were the rage. Go pick out the pattern that you wanted. Yeah. Yeah. So now everybody, I mean, I know we have bright colors on today, but the more I get into the energy thing, the more I can't stand it when people wear black and gray. It's such a low vibrational color.
A lot of my clothes are that because guess what? Yeah. I was a goth.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but I mean, it carries over. I still have a lot of black in my wardrobe, and I try not. I want my vibrations to be higher, so I try not to wear black and black or gray and black. I try to put some color with it.
The general public, I feel like the way there's also being a visual artist. The art of dressing, the art of putting on something that's sort of beautiful and color is, just gone. That whole sort of aesthetic, unless you're in New York and that's sort of your vibe. Right. But, everybody's sort of, I like T-shirts. I wear T-shirts, but, I think it's time we had something else.
Yes.
Comfortable, but has a little bit more fun in it.
Well, and I hope that some of these young designers coming up will take the experience of being in the pandemic and being home and being able to be comfortable and bring it with some fashion sense.
Yes, yes.
Hopefully that will be coming soon.
Yeah.
So we have creative young people, and they're out there. I just think they need a little inspiration.
All right, so maybe we should do readings on each other.
Okay.
You want to do that?
That would be good. We are kind of matching, Jackie.
Yeah, no, we're like, I'm going, I better put on my pink scarf. I said, I like this. This is good. All I need is so I gotta do my gray.
I do mine purple. So that's everywhere you see purple is gray.
All right, so let's ask each other. I want to ask this question I ask all the time.
Okay.
I've been waiting. I missed, before the pandemic, I missed all the cheap houses in Santa Fe. I don't know why, but usually it's sort of like every place that I live, when I walk in, I get a yes. And I did find a house right after my dad passed that was a yes, but the timing was wrong. You know, the money transfer and the timing
Right.
was wrong. I bought out of the family estate in Rhode Island, so I had a chunk of money, which is now worth half of what it was.
Mhm.
And I've looked at houses for almost 3 years, and I haven't gotten a yes. And so any kind of reading on that, I get down on myself that either I'm too picky or
Are
this
you
or
going
that.
to get, are you going to get your house,
Yeah,
let's say in the next 6 months?
in the next 6 months, or what any kind of reading on that. Sometimes when I worry about it, I see 11, 11, 11. Any kind of
Right.
reading. I mean, I'm also terrified about buying a house.
I can understand that.
I mean, this is the only time I wish I had a man in my life, because this is something men are good at. That I'm like, woo, this is a big purchase.
It is a big purchase,
Yeah.
and it's going to affect your credit in
Yeah,
a large way.
in a large way. It's a big responsibility, but sometimes, like when I get the yes, I don't care. So we'll see. I'm thinking that I don't know what the universe has in store for me here.
Thayer, there's the Page of Pentacles right there. All that money, worrying about the money.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I got the Chariot. So it's moving along
Moving along.
at
Okay.
its own
Good.
speed.
Yeah.
But that's the Nine of Pentacles. So
Family money.
it's, I would think that in the near future, it may not be as fast as you want it to be,
Right. Yeah.
but in the near future, you're going to find it, and the time will be right.
Yeah. The time will be right.
The
Yeah.
time will be right, and this is you in your garden.
I'd love that. Because the houses in Santa Fe are so overpriced for what you get.
I
That
think that
yeah.
that's going to, and I know it's partly the area, but it's partly the timing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the way the housing market is, but something's going to happen. That's what I get. Something's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And it's going to be, it may be slow or slow to us, but it's going to happen. It's moving along.
It's moving
So
along.
the,
All right.
the
Thank you.
universe is going to put things in line.
Together. I mean, I have that faith, and then and then I'm a person. Like you're spiritual and you get the faith, but then you're a person. As my father goes, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. You can be spiritual, but you're still a person.
On the bottom, I got the Death card, but that's you're waiting for the transformation.
Transformation. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, it's going. It's just going to be slow.
Yeah.
Just slow.
All right. All right, Deb, you got a question for me? Let me see.
I do. I keep getting messages that I'm standing on the threshold of something, waiting to go through the portal. And I'm curious what that threshold is.
Well, I mean, I got this right away when we met backstage, but I'm seeing a round, deep purple portal. I'm seeing a beautiful woods. Like a Tolkien woods, a very old growth forest woods, and they, you have them. The trees don't have to be that big, but when you walk into the woods, or anybody, you can feel the settled energy of nature and the settled energy of just that energy is old. So I feel like you're an old soul, you're an old energy, and that there's this round, beautiful purple portal. So I'm seeing the woods as who you are, that you've always been an old soul. You've always been very wise. And this is not meant as a negative, but the crone of the woods, the wise woman of the woods, an ent, we would say. I mean, that's your energy. And the portal is something you kind of poke at it, and it's vast. You can walk through that portal and have the answers of the universe. And I remember meditating, and I started getting vibrations and connecting, and I went, you know what? I don't want to do this. It's a big, it can be overwhelming. So let's see, where are we going to go with this? Well, I'm seeing little gnomes and fairies pulling at your skirt, saying, "Come on, it will be fun. Come on in and play." Okay, so your channel, the YouTube channel that you have, is the portal, and gradually the fairies are your audience. And I think the more readings you do, and the more you open up on your channel, the more you are going to go deeper into the portal, and knowledge, gentle, kind knowledge will come to you. Now, I'm seeing it's a free will that you get to decide what direction your channel wants to go in. Some people do answer political questions. Some people do personal questions. I'm seeing that will come to you, that you need to ask what your direction is. What kind of cake do you want to make? If it's a cooking channel, is it baking? What kind of cake do you want to make? And you have very loving guides on either side of you, that they will, all you got to do is ask. And like I'm seeing a cookbook or a recipe book, that you and your guides can decide what you want to make.
That's exciting.
And I see it being very beneficial in a universal way.
That's what I want, to be something, or have something that is of benefit.
That's of benefit. So I think it's sort of like a touch and go kind of thing. And again, I'm getting an image of you and your guides in a kitchen. I don't know why it's a kitchen, where you go, what do we want to make today? Or how are we going to put this all together so it works? So that's sometimes stepping into the abyss is scary if you don't know, if you don't know where you're going or what you want to ask. So it's I'm seeing, get busy making recipes. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
But I see your channel of being great benefit to a great number of people that aren't necessarily of the spiritual ilk or of the political ilk, that it's going to be a very a very comforting, kind message.
Oh, and that's what I want it to be.
Yeah.
That is what I want it to be, comforting and uplifting.
Yeah.
And I want someone who might not necessarily be familiar with us and the language we speak to be able to come to my channel and still get something from it. Oh,
yes.
Thank you, Jackie.
And I think that's where the recipe and the conversation with your guides need to go. Mm-hmm. Because as we were talking about sewing, people have sewing channels. Okay, so this is what you do to how to put a zipper in. And it's sort of everyday information, where you might have everyday spirituality. How to listen to that voice that goes, lock your car.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Yes.
But I see patterns. I see that this is this is your destiny, Luke. Luke, it is your destiny. I feel like, I feel like you're going to be the good housekeeping of spirituality.
Oh, well, that's fun.
Yeah,
That sounds like fun.
right.
And it sounds like what I want to do. Not only is it what I want to do, it's sort of what I feel compelled to do. That my guides have been pointing me this direction for a while and trying to prepare me. And they told me that they're going to give me what I need to say, that I just have to be respectful and remember that it doesn't come from me.
Right, right, right.
That and to be respectful of everyone who comes.
Yeah, yeah. And I think have um, I, I'm hearing the word blueprint. Before you build a house, you put your plans down, and that you might want to get a piece of paper and a pad and start asking your guides and doing some automatic writing and have like a jam session with your guides. Um, so you can, sort of like the ingredients in a cake and get your blueprint.
I do need to do that because
Yeah,
that's something I have trouble with that because almost everything I've done on my channel is I just got an idea and sat down in front of the camera and did it. I didn't write anything down. I didn't make a plan.
well, I mean, this is if you want to get yourself organized. Like a lot of times, if I'm doing a complicated painting, I'll do a drawing beforehand.
Hmm.
Sometimes I won't, but
Sort of
it,
like an outline if you're writing,
yeah, outline.
or a recipe if you're cooking or whatever.
Yeah, and
Whatever.
you can say to your guys, well, what do you think about this? Now, that kind of thing. Um, it might um, get everybody talking on the phone. Like, the conversation with your guys is like a phone meeting, uh,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So you can put an intent out there, and then they can help you manifest the intent.
Let me ask you this there. I had a guided meditation, or I did a guided meditation a while back where I was led in the meditation to meet a particular being. And then in the guided meditation, and in this meditation, you go through a meadow, into a tree, down the tree, and into another meadow that's like in Middle Earth. And um, at the end of the meditation, you're told to turn around and see your guides standing by the tree. And I
Right.
turned around and I saw a multitude of beings, and not just my guides, but my ancestors and just a lot. And it was kind of overwhelming, but I don't believe I made it up. I believe these really are.
Oh, I see that. When I didn't see one or two guides, I saw multiples, like mirror, 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 mirror.
Mhm.
Um, and there, it's all in gentleness.
Mhm.
It's all in gentleness and kindness. I feel like there's a type of kindness because the world is so unkind
It
now,
is.
and especially where you live. That Yeah, so it's sort of like you need to sit down and have a conference. Um, but I feel like I just feel like it's going to be like a fan unfolding, and that you are, um, Juno, right? From the
Mhm.
So I did a painting for
I
Juno.
know Juno's hands.
Yeah, no, Juno's hands. She's got a
Yes.
great voice. I did a circle with a sky in it.
Yes.
I always saw Juno like accessing the sky.
Yes.
Around it, I painted earth, the green of the earth. So for you, I see like uh, when you do the pandemic shots and it kind of flutters out,
Mm-hmm.
that your connection to the universe is through your ancestors and through your guides, that it's a solid line.
I feel like there is a
Yeah,
solid.
yeah, a
It's
solid,
not just a few, it's a multitude of
right,
beings.
multitude. Like
And
when you do a fan, a multidimensional.
yes.
Yeah. So again, I see you sitting at the table doing some writing, just to get things sort of coming up in your head a little bit faster. And you can write it and then throw it away. It's just to get the energy connections moving, so
Yes.
connect it a little bit more.
So well, that's fascinating because
Yeah,
that's exactly, I think you're right on with that there.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
I really am standing on the threshold. I really do think that.
yeah. No, and I think because you are so connected, it's sort of like, um, sort of stepping into the abyss. It can be intimidating, but I keep seeing coconut cream pie. I keep seeing soft, delicious food, like pie, like they're going, no, this is going
One
to,
of my guides, I'm pretty sure she's one of my guides, is my great grandmother.
yeah.
And there was plenty of cooking.
Yeah. I'm seeing cooking and mashed potatoes, comfort food.
Hmm.
Like they're going, no, this is comfort food. So
So it's a metaphor.
it's a metaphor, yeah. But somebody in your family must have made really good pies.
That would be my great grandmother.
Yeah, because I'm seeing. I want to go out and get a pie now. Coconut custard pie. Hey, Taro Stash, how you doing? Marsha Green's here, Singing Moon. Hi, Jackie. Ask us some questions.
Yes, ask us a question.
Yeah.
So, Thayer, you were talking about how you were able to open up, and your daughter then came
Right. Yeah.
behind you. Do you feel like that maybe you were setting an example, or were you paving the way? What do you think that, what is the energy you think that was with that?
Um. Well, when you have a lot of challenges when you grow up in a dysfunctional, painful childhood, where you can get resentments and anger. And the resentments and anger can be like a block. I mean, everybody's entitled to be angry. Everybody's got, issues. I'm not
Hmm.
saying that that's the wrong thing, but sometimes you can sit in anger and you can't move.
Right.
And a lot of people, and you can see today, there's a lot of people, anger is being peddled on the radio and on the TV. So you stay in one place and you think, I'm going to be angry at this, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pound at this. And when you do that, there's no movement.
No,
No.
it's stagnant, and it
Right.
kind of feeds into, for some reason, negativity seems to be more attractive than
Well,
positivity.
it's safe.
Yes, because we know it.
We know it, and we can do the abortion issue just briefly. Sometimes if you have a single issue thing, like if the immigrants think, if I can just get to America, my life will get better. They have that one thing in their head.
Mhm.
And because it keeps things very simple, it keeps you very secure, and you have one direction. But that goal, and I've learned from experience, like if I could just make the perfect painting, people will love me. If I could just make enough money, people will love me, or I will be seen, or I will be validated. And when you do that, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't
No,
change anything inside.
no. And
Yeah,
it's allowing something to blame failure on.
right, right.
So if I'm not responsible, if this outside force is responsible,
Right,
then
right.
then somehow it makes it better.
If I fix the outside force somehow, but really what I've done with my daughter is I've had to look at places where I've made a mistake in communicating. And my daughter taught me unconditional love. I came from a very conditioned family where you only received love and praise if you behaved a certain way, if
Right.
you accomplished certain things. If you didn't behave a certain way, you were punished or cast out. And my daughter came into the universe very demanding, very difficult, very complicated. She did not fit into the WASP correctness. I call her the Dolly Parton of my WASP family. I mean, really, you know, she'd arrive at family occasions with tight synthetic clothes on and big boobs, and all the cotton loving, you know, martini drinking waspy people would just go, and I had to like say, you know, who am I? Do I love this daughter the way she is? Or do, you know, so I had to go through this big maze of casting out things that didn't work for me, like the waspy expectations, like you have to behave a certain way, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I had to break open those assumptions, those patterns, and get rid of them. And as I broke open and got rid of them, I mean, my daughter's gay. Um, I was the last one to know. You'd think that she would tell me right away. But no, I had to look at that dynamic of what I was giving her and then break open the dynamic in me, which gave her more room to expand. Does that does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah,
Because whether you realize it or not, she is taking her cues from you.
that's right. Yeah,
And so in order for her to be herself, you have to not only be yourself, but accept her the way she is.
and, and also I've also learned to say I'm sorry, that was wrong, which I couldn't do uh, for the first 10 years of her life. I still had that don't admit you're wrong, that you're not wrong. If you admit you're wrong, somehow you're admitting failure. You are a failure, that you are not a person anymore. But actually breaking open that sort of defense that you have, when the defense goes away, it allows more room for you to grow. It also brings in love. It brings in that acceptance. I mean, I didn't do this by myself. I had a lot of help from the spiritual community. I had very good therapists. And I wanted to change. I didn't like myself. I didn't like what I was doing. So I wanted the change. Um, and, I'm glad, because I can look back and go, man, I wasn't a great parent back then, but I've looked at where I went wrong and I've changed it, and I'm a better parent now.
Absolutely. And it started with you because you wanted to do the right thing.
Yeah, and I really think that was part of my soul or my guides. I mean, because where I was so horrible. I
Mhm.
was It was horrible. My family just never mind. My family's
I understand.
stuck
I
of
get it.
narcissism, and they all feel good about themselves hating on me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I
Right.
don't. personally anymore, but the way that it's sort of like Trump. Trump always has to have an enemy. I'm sort of the enemy of my family. But even though it was painful, it popped me out in a better place.
I think a lot of us in this community are the ones that are different in our family.
Right.
And it's easy to target someone who is not like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And I definitely wasn't. I was dyslexic, I mean, I wouldn't want to go through it again, but I'm very happy because my daughter came from a very tragic, dysfunctional. Her father died when she was 13. And I feel like our relationship is 100% better. The more I've opened up, and I said to her last year, I said, I want to make our communication better. I don't like that we have this disagreement. I've talked to my therapist and my friends about this, and I changed the way I approached her. And what did she do? She went out, she got her own therapist. She completely shifted her whole dynamic of the way she looked at herself, and her life moved forward. So, I mean, that's just us together.
So, and that was everything that came out of that. The work both of you did is positive.
Yeah, because we both wanted things to get better for us. So. I mean, I don't think, we're both so much alike that, they'll, but it was, to me, I felt like, okay, I just felt that was an improvement. And it was because my parents never changed. They never wanted to examine anything that was difficult. They were always right. Everything was always a certain way. And there was no effort to repair anything. So out of a negative comes a positive.
Right. And that negative was safe because it's what they knew.
It's what they knew. Yeah. And they also, drank a lot.
Yes, that contributes.
Yeah, it does. I mean, yeah. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's an amazing story, Thayer. Thank you for sharing that with us.
One thing I've learned, it's important to have fun.
Yes, it is.
It's very
important. So I'm going to shift a little here. Marcia has asked, tomorrow I will celebrate my grandma's 46th year going home. So she's been gone for 46 years. She wants to know, is her grandmother one of her guides?
All right. And then we'll have to do it without the name of your grandma.
Do you have a name, Marcia? First name?
I'm getting right away. Your grandma is very happy in heaven.
Jessie. Her name's Jessie.
I feel like there's a white cord between you and her. That there's a cord of energy between the two of you. Did you get a yes?
Yes, I got a yes.
I got a yes too. I'm feeling.
I got a very strong yes.
I got a very strong yes too. I feel like you already know this, which is why you asked the question. But the confirmation is nice, and she helps you. She says she helps you all the time. She sends you silver and golden light. So if you're in trouble, yeah.
I got the lover's card.
Lover's card, partner. Yeah, you guys are partners.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, Marcia. Yes, she is.
And if you have problems, bring in that silver and golden light, and you'll get information from her. She's saying that's how I communicate with you.
I just want to say that Gerald said, I'm glad you used your experience to improve your relationship with your daughter there.
Me too. Thank you, Stash. I usually don't say that out loud, but for some reason, I guess today is a day to, you know, you can have spiritual experiences, but you also have to put the work in
I
on
should have warned you that I have complete strangers walk up to me on the street and tell me their life story. So I'm pretty sure I could have gotten it out of you.
It's the pie. It's the pie. The mashed potatoes. Pie.
Janet.
Yeah. So Marsha, I think you and your grandmother are linked, and
Let me find her again.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Did you get I think they're linked, and I think you can talk to her anytime. The silver light, the silver liquid light.
Yes.
Is that it? Is
that and all you have to do is think of her and she will be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's the question. Yeah. All you have to do is think of her and she is a thought away.
And releasing it is correct, Marsha Green. Yep. And I do that energy cleansing. Yeah. No, the experiencing, the grounding, and the releasing. Yeah. Okay, another question. Janet, you got a question for us?
Would you like to have a card, or is there anything you'd like to know?
And Anna Banana, I agree with Watcher. That's correct. I think that is, I got that right on too.
I have one guide who has that I met, or I knew him already. He was someone in my son's life, an older gentleman that is like a watcher. That he said he's one of my guides, and he is a watcher. He is there for support.
Right.
And that's the kind of relationship that I get from your grandmother, Marsha, is that kind of support.
Support. Yeah. Yeah. She's always holding your hand. Mm-hmm. Janet P., message from my guides. I'm seeing the color green. I'm seeing big, beautiful green trees out in a field full of green grass. I feel like that's a love growth energy, because the green heart chakra and love and growth. I feel like they're sending you a lot of love, and they're very proud of you for something that you've accomplished. I'm seeing growth and richness and bounty. And maybe Deb has something to add to that.
I do. I think that you're maybe need to stop thinking so much and get a little bit different perspective, that you're worried maybe about things like finances, but they're coming. Don't worry. It's coming. It's all coming. You trust what's going to happen. Think about it and remember to trust. And that's what I got for that. So Ruth has a question. And I have to tell you, Ruth, I have never read on animals, but we will see if I come up with something. Any message from my deceased dog, Big Nick? He helped me open my heart to even more love. Isn't that what they do? They help us open our heart.
I see a tan black dog, like a dog that's got tan hair and black hair mixed together and a dark muzzle. I feel like this dog was really happy. had a good time. Um, let's see. He might have had a little bit of German Shepherd in him, but shorter hair. I see him in the kitchen. He's in the kitchen and he's in the bedroom. He's sort of always next to you when you walk around. Big Nick. I feel like he was a grounder for you. That he really grounded you, and he guided you, like he helped you through some difficult times. Definitely a very loving energy. He's with you now. You see him in dreams, or his energy comes to you in dreams. Do I have the right dog?
Were you finished there?
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Yeah. I kind of got the same thing, Ruth. I got he was kind of your emotional rock.
Yeah.
And that he helped you through some tough times. But he is still there. He's still there. This is the King of Cups. And in this deck, you see that this King of Cups is tossing the message and the emotions back and forth between two cups. But he is very stable. There's all this emotion all around, and he's in full control. So I would think that he's still near you, and that you can access him anytime. He will come and support you anytime.
She says, Nick was more pumpkin colored, but sounds like my deceased shepherd ranger. Yes to grounding. Yes to, I see Nick in my dreams.
He's there to support you all the time. You're welcome, Janet.
You got to get another dog. Do you have another dog? I feel like you need another dog, or you have another dog, but you should always have a dog. I feel like the dogs recycle the energy that the dogs are they're kind of like those canoes that have the balancer on them, that go on the waves. I feel like the dogs are like that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, does anyone else have anything that they'd like to ask, or did you have anything else? Wait, let me make sure I didn't miss any. No, I didn't.
Bye, Tarot Stash. Mr. Librarian.
Hi, Gerald. Oh, have fun reading. 3 cats, you need a dog. I have to, let me share with you, Ruth, that I have been looking for my little dog that I lost in March to come back to me. And I'm pretty sure I know where he is. And he's on stray hold at the pound right now. And as soon as he comes off of that, and this holiday where it's so noisy passes, I'm going to go down and see if I can bring him home with me. So I wholeheartedly endorse, if you have the means and you can find a good fit, getting another dog, because you have support from on the other side.
Yeah.
And they will help you choose the right one.
I see this dog getting along fine with your cats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing a video that you see the dodo on YouTube of the dog that loves the cats and the cat, that they all sleep together. So I feel like the energy of Nick and Ranger and your dog will come back to you. So when you're ready, sometimes I lost my dog. I have a cat. I still miss dog energy. So
I do too. And I have I have a cat.
Yeah.
And late last week, my cat decided to start sleeping in the spot where my dog used to sleep. So that told me he was coming
Yeah.
because he wasn't with me anymore. And so I started to look, and I'm pretty sure I found him. So hopefully he'll be coming home with me maybe next week sometime.
Yeah. And Ruth, I feel like you have gifts or I don't know, it could that there's some gift or some positive energy in your future.
Mhm.
I don't know what that is. It could be a free piece of pie or I don't know, but there's something you have a gift or a love energy uh, uh, in your future this summer.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to fall in love and get married or whatever, but there's something positive. Sort of like if you're picking berries, there's a bush that's got a lot of berries on it, that kind of thing. So, yeah, yeah.
All right, Ranger. Love Dodo. Ranger and Nick hung out together. Made sense you saw Ranger. Nice job there.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, yeah, and I have, even if they didn't know each other in life, because my dogs that never met hung out on the other side together. So, um, and play with my cat. The one that's still on the other side still plays with my cat.
Right.
They were playing, they go all over the house. So good luck, Ruth, finding your new addition and with your new gift.
Yeah, keep us posted, Ruth,
Yes,
on what
definitely.
happens. Yeah, Anna Banana's got. She's you're psychic too, Anna Banana.
She is.
She is.
Thank you for coming, Anna.
Yeah.
And well, we're almost at an hour and a half. So, Thayer, is there anything else you wanted to share about?
I haven't got my own YouTube channel yet, but I love being a guest. It's always a challenge for me, and I love the community and I love the energy I get. Um, you know, I just want to say thank you to everybody.
And you can reach Thayer. I put Thayer's
Yeah.
email address in the description, but I'll put it here real quick too, just in case.
And I can email me. I can do a painting or a reading for you. I don't have a PayPal account or anything. But if you want any information, give me an email and we'll see what we can work out. I do psychic color paintings. These are paintings that, like, I'll do a psychic reading of you with color, and you get the painting, and the painting should talk to you and give you energy while you hang it on the wall.
Well,
Yeah.
and
So,
I can tell you just from chatting with Thayer here today that she is a very open, giving person. So you will not be sorry if you contact her. She will give you everything she has to give in whatever you ask for.
thank you, and I do, because that's what makes me feel good.
So, well, I really appreciate you coming on. I will just quickly say I am not going to do anything live the rest of this week because where I live, it's very noisy and they do fireworks in my parking lot next to my apartment. So and they start, they don't just do one or two, they do them all night long. So and starting pretty soon in a couple of days, they'll start doing them all day long. They did them for about an hour this afternoon.
Yeah.
So it will be too loud for me to do any recording. So, but I have good things coming next week. Mark, the Spirit Whisperer is going to come on Wednesday, and I'm in talks with Gerald about possibly Thursday. So,
yeah.
So I want everybody to have a wonderful next several days because I won't be on live. I will probably see you someplace in chat somewhere. But I really appreciate you coming there, and
Oh,
really
I loved it. Yeah.
enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Thank you so much.
well,
Yeah. And anytime I'm in Dallas, I'm coming to your house for pie.
cool. We will work it out.
We'll work it out. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Yeah.
All
Be
right.
well. Have fun.
Bye.
Dance and have fun.